One thing I came across recently was a video of somebody posting pictures from early 1900s of women in America and women in other countries. You can see significant differences in our craniofacial growth and profiles. Look at the even thirds on this beautiful woman's face, top, middle, and lower. It's beautiful, it's aesthetically pleasing, but it also tells us a story about their health. Now, this also applies to indigenous people. This is early 1900s. Once again, there wasn't the influence of softer processed food just yet. There wasn't the influence of how industrialized we've become, which includes the pollutants that the industrialized companies put out into the air when they're doing what they're doing, manufacturing, etc. So we're not getting a lot of nasal inflammation, allergies, reactiveness, things like that. When I say it tells us a more in-depth story of their health, when we see a facial profile that is sound, even, that has a nice wide face, especially in the middle third of the face, it tells me a lot that more details about they're most likely sleeping well. Sleeping is the foundation of our health and our well-being. If we don't sleep, we're not getting rid of the plaques that build up in our brain. We're not repairing our emotions. We're not restoring and integrating specific and important memories. So our mental health, what we need to clean out our body, that's not happening if we have narrow airways. We are struggling to breathe efficiently. We're constantly congested. So when we look at our facial profiles in our population from the early 1900s or 1800s, even looking at photos of my parents and my grandparents, it's a lot different and what they look like facially. So looking at this tells us a story. It tells us what we would aim to achieve now in our heavily industrialized nations and communities. We need to achieve this optimal facial growth with our kids, and it can be done. If we know the difference between previous timelines, what the influences are, what our current influences are, what's the difference, we know that. If we can influence parents, new parents, to be aware and knowledgeable about negative influences on craniofacial growth, we can really change the health trajectory for many children and, in fact, many adults. Once we know more and have more education, choose to apply that to our health and well-being, we can see changes in our health and well-being. We can see changes now and into the future, and be proactive and be preventative. We don't have to succumb to sleep apnea. It's a choice. If we know better, it's a choice to not do anything. So look and browse. It's very interesting. It's definitely something to nerd out about if you like this kind of stuff, but I just thought it was super interesting seeing all of these women comparative to what we would see now in our culture and our society and our industrialized nation. So hope you learned something.